In this video, I will explain how to combine items from an array with items you stored in CoreData. Why could this be helpful? Well, for example, if you would design a recipe app, it would be great if you could display your favorite recipes for the users and as well integrate the option for the users to save their own recipes as items to CoreData. And then apply an option to show your recipes you pre-installed or not show the pre-installed recipes. Just imagine that the colors that are displayed on the simulator are substitutes for the recipes you could later add. So what do we have here? We have a TabView and we can go through it. And then we have the option to show pre-installed colors. Actually, I programmed two options on how to solve this problem. A button that is displayed in the TabView as well, and a button that is displayed on the content view. So if we simply click on one of these buttons, then the pre-installed colors will show, which are stored in an array. If we click on don't show pre-installed colors, then only the items that were stored in CoreData will be used to fill the rectangles on the TabView. Okay, so if you want to know how to store items, which will let you create colors and store colors into CoreData, you can watch another video of mine. And if you want to know how to create a dynamic TabView, you can also watch another video of mine where I explain this in particular. Okay, so let's get started. So first, we created something to actually store colors into CoreData with a few different things. That aside, we created an array. Therefore, we first programmed a struct, which we call array color, which is identifiable so we can iterate over through with a for each loop. We give it different values for red, blue, green, and alpha, so we can create a color from these values. And then we give each time we use the struct a different ID, which is a UUID. Then we construct an array with the struct of array color and therefore implement 4 times the struct array color and give the variables different values. Then we have the content view file, and here we have the recipe view. The recipe view is nothing else than a tab view that you can see here. So we go into the recipe view file, and there you can see that we have the variable at app storage is showing array. And the default value, which is chosen when you start the app, is usually true. So the pre-installed colors will be seen. We declare the same variable in the content view file as well, as you can see here. Okay, so in the recipe view, depending on the value of is showing array, we either display one tab view or the other. If is showing array is true, we display the following tab view. There we have 2 for each loops. The first for each loop simply iterates over every item that is stored into CoreData and uses the values of the attributes to implement these into the color, which will later fill the rectangle. Then we have another for each loop which iterates over every struct which we stored into the array and fills the color with the values of the structs of the array and of its components for red, green, blue, and alpha. And on the last page, we have a VStack where we simply display a button, as you saw previously, to toggle on the option to display the pre-installed colors or to not display them. And if is showing array is false, we simply only display a tab view with a for each loop which iterates over every item in CoreData, but doesn't show the items of the array. And on the last page, again, we implement the option to toggle the variable is showing array to either display the items of the array or to not display them. Interesting here is the modification of ID, items point count. That means that the tab view changes its ID when the amount of items in CoreData changes, which means if we add or delete an item from CoreData, the tab view will reload and therefore will start again with the first item that we stored into CoreData. I hope this was interesting for you, that you understand that these kind of options could be very helpful for future projects, especially if you want to pre-install a few things into your own application and combine them with the option for the user to add their own ideas onto an existing object.